Welcome to modimakes.
Chaos. Usually when we're using this word, we're thinking negatively and we're thinking socially. Riots, wars, natural disasters. But in certain circles, this word has no moral standing. It's just an area of study.
Okay.
Chaos theory is all about these hyper-complex systems that are incredibly sensitive to their initial starting conditions. That's just to say that a small change in the beginning can lead to a substantial change in the end. That's the basis for the famous butterfly effect. You know, a butterfly flaps its wings in South America and creates a tornado in Canada down the line. You know, people think about this stuff a lot. What seems like it was completely random at first might hold a ton of interesting insights if you look closely enough. Now, I am no scientist and I'm definitely not a mathematician, two things you should probably be if you want to look into these sorts of things, but I am a big old science nerd and I consume enough science media to be extremely interested in all the mind-boggling ideas these eggheads cook up. So when my dear friend reached out to me and told me she was putting on a group showing that she wanted me to be a part of and the theme was the butterfly effect, well, you know my little geek heart almost exploded, right? So I was given my theme and my size restraints, which were generous, so you know I'm gonna go big with it. And now it's just a matter of making jazz out of it. Now, I want it to be known that this is all from the Wikipedia page, so I'm entirely quoting here. Chaos theory states that within the apparent randomness of chaotic complex systems, there are underlying patterns, interconnection, constant feedback loops, repetition, self-similarity, fractals, and self-organization. Now, this is really beautiful conceptually and as a metaphor. You could see how it could almost be used religiously or maybe more spiritually, because it's essentially saying that there's an order and a connection laying in wait underneath the surface. The universe might seem meaningless, but really it's full of order and meaning and purpose. Now, that's not to say that that's the claim. You can sort of tell by how evangelical it all feels, but it's easy to see how you could make that interpretation from how it's presented here. That obviously makes it very potent for the artists that want to seem deep and thoughtful, you know, the poets and directors and painters like yours truly. Because humans love to find a way that they can make some sort of order and meaning out of it all. There's an intense curiosity with things that are grandiose to us, and this is about as godlike as it comes. It's funny, because it does seem like artists are always trying to capture God in one way or another. I mean, I'm no better. Look at my design. It basically looks like there's a giant disappointed God looking down on you. Nothing's changed since the Renaissance, I guess. So when I was initially thinking of the butterfly effect as a theme, I needed some way to visually interpret that made sense to people. So I started thinking of physical analogs that could get the point across, and that's when the idea of Rube Goldberg machines hit me. Rube Goldberg machines literally takes some small, seemingly meaningless action and propagates the energy from that action down a line of seemingly random, irrelevant interactions to produce a large result on the other end. And the most ubiquitous version of one of these systems that I could think of is the board game Mousetrap. Mousetrap has been in production since 1963 and is still being sold to this day. Generations of kids grew up playing this game and made some formative memories around it, so I can take advantage of that nostalgia and use it to benefit my painting. So I'm gonna have the mouse and the weird little clicky-clack cage thing that only exists in Mousetrap, with the butterfly as a reference to the butterfly effect, rolling the cosmic dice that are sending ripples out into the environment, all being watched over by the cosmic player in the background. But I also wanted to add in some other nods to chaos theory and chaotic systems to fill out the scene. For instance, we have 3 bodies orbiting the head of the cosmic player as a reference to the 3-body problem. Then we have fractal foliage growing out from the back of the cosmic player. And we have the clouds representing the chaotic system of weather in the back of the scene. We just need some melting clocks, and I think we have a surrealist masterpiece on our hands here. Humans, by their nature, are storytellers. It's part of our shared species-wide cultural heritage. And it's definitely at the core of why we make art. Whether it's music or cinema or theater or painting or writing, the idea is to engage the audience with a story and some sort of message or thought. We have always told stories to understand the phenomena around us, and in the beginning, the things that we didn't understand was attributed to the gods. Well, as our understanding grew, the places where the gods maintained their domain had to shift and shrink, but we learned in the process there are certain things that we cannot fully understand, giving the gods some permanent home. Chaos theory looks into the seemingly random systems and pulls useful information from them, giving us the ability to commune with the gods even though we cannot fully understand them. In many ways, I feel a strong connection between that and the creative process. When I'm working on my art, I always feel like I'm communing with some force that isn't fully contained within me and is a part of something larger. As if these ideas are presented to me, not that they come from within me, and I know that many other artists have shared this feeling. So this painting is the culmination of this story, and these ideas thought up by some truly brilliant people merging spirituality with the frontier of science and mathematics. If you want to own a piece of that story, then head to my website, modimakes.com, where you can pick up a print of this painting and tons of other amazing paintings that I've made on this channel. It would help support me directly so that I can continue to make all of these stories, paintings, and videos for all of y'all. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. And if you want to help support the channel, then do all the things you know to do. Like, subscribe, comment, share, all the things that help to get more eyes on these videos. And with all that, I think that you have definitely waited long enough to see these beautiful final shots.
Thanks for watching.